afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast from your host, ImperialDane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Off here to a 1 versus 1 on Bayeux. In the north it is Airforce, a Japanese player roughly around top 100, fighting here for America, freedom, democracy. The second infantry division is in the south, it is the one, the only ImperialDane himself, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, here with German Infantry, a personal favourite doctrine, with half-track, Stug, and Panzergunner bulletins versus Airborne with infantry and paratrooper and Pathfinder bulletins. There we got an early Pathfinder start here for Air Force, allowing of course to get out a bit more field presence early game, plus in sort of certain one-on-one engagements, Pathfinders can provide a bit extra push there versus the German infantry, already low in numbers, which then of course suffer more from just being, picked off by the Pathfinder's marksman. Going for the MG42 start there, standard stuff here. No big innovations there from me. We got the Rations heading eastwards, Rifling westwards, and the Pathfinders coming back up the Rifling there in that sense, pushing hard east for the fuel there. MG42 in a slightly more aggressive position. He's not going to get that far ahead than this. I suppose he tries really hard with the re-echelons, moving hit the machine gun there, setting up to preempt any pushes here, and then moving the rest towards the east there. Meanwhile, Air Force continues westwards there for freedom and democracy. While we hit the quiet bit of the match, big thanks to Patrick for donating and supporting the Propagandacast. Allow me to keep doing what I do day after day, so big thanks to you, Patrick. You're part of my company here, because, well, you keep allowing me to do this. So we've got Grenadier 74 2 moves for centre here, keeping them together. Got to make sure the MG4 doesn't get too far out so he can't react in time to any manoeuvres. Rifle Pathfinders moving up here, MG4 sitting up there. I believe I saw something happening there, so the question is whether we'll be able to respond to this in time. There you go. Machine gun caught, Grenadiers moving in. Pathfinders moving in as well. Pioneers will have to move to respond as well to this push here. Big flank kill ready from Air Force, trying to disrupt my early game. Very good play there, of course. Very good idea there if you can. Obviously has its risks, but if pulled off correctly, can be quite devastating here for the Valent play in the early game. Quickly focuses down the reactions. Grenadiers flanking the rifle from the south here. Machine gun taking a lot of damage, but it's keeping the Pathfinders from joining the fight, which is helpful. Reactions being focused down here. Rifle forces deal with the Grenadiers from the south here, turning into a bit of a big melee here in the early game. Machine gun cleared out. Reactions trying to make a run for it, but they quickly stopped there, risking being wiped out. Moving ahead here, Grenadiers, Pioneers from in there. Machine gun quickly being crewed up by the Pioneers here. So there you go. There we go. Machine gun back in action. Rifle there getting hosed at point blank range by MG42. Lewis goes down in a storm of lead, and the Pathfinders now the next one to be run off the field here. Third Grenadier squad away for me. Air Force here could try and go for a fast tech, and there you go. We got a 2-minute and roughly 50-second platoon command post upgrade underway there. Back here, troops reinforcing, some early and aggressive plays there. So and again, trying to disrupt him. He's not actually getting a lot of fuel, he's just more focused on just really making my early game miserable and trying to that way, gain a tactical advantage based off that. It is, again, in some ways risky. If your opponent counters it easily, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But again, it can frustrate some players and actually just make them play worse. So that can have some advantages. And plus, I mean, if you get rid of that machine gun early on and grab it, that of course is a massive advantage for you. And that fact might be what Air Force is aiming for here versus me. Still lining up for a fresh counterattack. We'll be taking up soon. Going to be setting in versus Rifleman. Also slowly beginning to sort of, grab points elsewhere. Pioneer setting up, Rifleman being pursued here. Back here, MG42 should be reinforcing. They can also attack. And there you go, Lieutenant out here for Air Force. And the 2nd Infantry as... I didn't even get my unit of name there. Let's go with 2nd Panzer Division. Grenadiers are being hosed down here. Need to retreat now. Not 2nd, 9th. Grenadiers are charging out the Riflemen. Other Grenadiers, what they need to be careful. Grabbing the eastern victory point here and the center one as well. Lots of action here. I'm getting more fuel though, but not by a lot here compared to Air Force, because while I have a fuel point, the overall just has more strategic points, so it sort of compensates for itself. Which of course is worth keeping in mind. Here comes to assist here. Got the Pathfinders joining in the front. Take up fun happening there for me. Pioneers got the eastern victory point. And he's finally grabbing the western fuel point up in the north here. Moving in the Pioneer trying to assist, but that's not going to work out. As there's simply too many Americans, I'll leave able to push back the Rifleman here. Take up done. Could theoretically try and pop a Rifleman off. In fact, I do. And of course, I almost hit my own Pioneers with it like an idiot. That was a really close one. Our late troops reinforcing. Got a load machine gun there moving out the west side. I feel like things are too hectic on the eastern side, so just slowly, and obviously a bit of risky manner still, push it westward there to grab some territory there as I sort of try to stabilize these before moving in the machine gun, since with weight 8 it's big and I don't have enough infantry. I sending in the machine gun there, and where things are most heated, could risk, losing me a machine gun, which would obviously be what we call counterproductive. Troops reinforcing. We'll have to see what it goes for next. We've got a fast M20 here for him. Back here, gonna probably go for a fast like to make a nice company. Could go for the 250 half-track here, and send us a lot of the riflemen, or for that matter, the Pathfinders Lieutenant. It would be quite effective, but I'm kind of having the suspicion of getting hit by a fast M20, in which case I want the 222 out first. The 250 half-track is sort of put a bit on ice, since I want to look down at M20 fast. Plus, Bayeux being a more open, wider map, the 222 can also just be helpful sort of further curtailing the opponent's movement. Machine again, very risky play what I'm doing here, to be honest, very risky, but again, I'm counting to a large degree on the fact my opponent is heavily focused on the eastern side, and my presence there, and that way I kind of sort of allow the machine to operate there. But again, it's pretty risky, and it's not something I advise to most players. Moving forwards there, M20 almost down there for Air Force and the 2nd Infantry. 222 on the way in there. Pioneers went to back up, the MD-42 takes part some line of sight. And there you go, I retreated. There's only so much I feel like I can get away with the machine gun there before I just, end up losing it in some really dumb manner. Air Force meanwhile launching assault, got the 222 on the way. Quickly focusing down here, the more wounded riflemen, also close to the Grenadiers here. Prioritization in these kind of firefights is important, and as soon as those riflemen are routed, I begin focusing on the others. But obviously it's not going to work out. Up close, the riflemen do have a lot of DPS, but still they're focusing on the retreating Grenadier home to get a wipe, which does give the Grenadiers here still fighting a slightly improved chance. But RB-22 moving in, flanking up for the Pathfinders, since they don't have anti-tank rifle grenades. Can sort of hose them down, force the riflemen to get out of there, and slightly about for a chance to maybe get some good kills in on them. But that does have too much damage on the 222. Also, the M20's now pushed back here from the Pioneers in the west, seemingly getting a bit skittish there, perhaps a reflex. I'll make a lot of damage here to Air Force Pathfinders. They grab the point. I figured they're gone. Hadn't, of course, thought out this. He would be grabbing the Pathfinders camouflage. So, 2 thumbs up there to Airborne for Air Force for completely outbidding me. Proving I'm a bit of a patch there. Should have thought that one out, but I didn't. Pioneers moving up and moving the 222 support as the Grenadiers with MD-4 support pushing eastwards for the glorious fastland here versus Air Force. And I'm going for the 250 and a half tick here to back up my troops. Can provide me, of course, with mobility for my troops, provide a bit of healing, support. It's just, a very handy multi-tool. And there you go. Point grab, and I kind of go, oh, scheisse, I'm an idiot. Because, again, I should have seen that one coming, but I didn't. I'm trying to push back the Pioneers from good 50 caliber 5. Got Lieutenant moving up here. Pioneers ride it, moving in the 222 here. Moving up here because I'm thinking it's going to be pulling back the M20 because he's going to be expecting my 222. And yeah, it pays off here in this case. 250 and a half check out there for the German army. Mitra Schützenpanzerwagen, Grenadiers resistance in the east. Pulling back the 222 to ensure it doesn't get extended. As that would be a bit counterproductive. Fixing up. We also got an early bazooka here for him on his rifle. In fact, he's formed up a bazooka team. Interesting enough, he's not using his rear echelons, probably because they're preoccupied at the front line. He clearly deems the 222 a sufficiently big issue that he wants to it put down to the ground fast enough. So that's an interesting response there by Air Force. Not something you see usually from a lot of American players, but here we are with Air Force doing exactly that. Problems into the Grenadiers here. 222 hanging back. Pack 40 almost done there. Obviously worried about following up with a Stuart light tank, so I want to have the Pack 40 ready to deal with that. But they're committed to so many light vehicles. So the half track being caught off guard by Stuart would be a very sad moment for me. So I get the Pack 40 here, which of course the half track can also nicely support. But just going with the rapid pushback. The bazookas obviously less equipped as the Grenadiers, and there you go. Half track there, scouting a bit about here. Of course, need to be careful, don't run into an anti-tank grenades. Pack 40 out. Paratroopers running here for Air Force. 2nd Infantry calling in support here from the 82nd Airborne. As the 9th Panzerdivision shifted around their Mittlere Schützenpanzerwagen. Going for the western victory point here. Paratroopers landing right in the midst of everything. A bold maneuver here by Air Force again. He clearly likes to try and disrupt the German defences. Clearly having the experience that if you can actually do that, you can actually cause lots of fuss and just break apart the defences rapidly. So in theory, nice, but you got to remember the lessons of Crete. Dropping paratroopers too close in the midst of everything can backfire on you spectacularly and cause you a lot of casualties. like it did at Crete. And unlike a Crete, you may not win it. So there we go. I mean, in theory, nice idea with the 2 main light vehicles. Now pushing the 250 half tech with the Pioneer squad, being healed up by the way. Backed up with the 2 going straight for the Lieutenant, quickly overwhelm them here. And then quickly popping out the Pioneers as the 251 and the 222 then proceed to pursue the Lieutenant there. But probably curses his luck here. And there go adding in Stormtroopers to the mix. They're quickly adding some MT-40s, the colloquially known Schmeiser. And he's got a bit of light scrum change on his, taking some hits here from the M20. Pants fast off there. Quickly shifting the light vehicles eastwards. Grab the point here. Airforce finding himself a bit on a tighter position here. Need to do something to turn this around soon. And there you go, catching the M20 with the 2-2. The lighter punching speed wagon punching very large holes into Air Force's M20 utility car. 2 kills there on the half-tech so far. Close veterans 1 right from Bazooka team moving in there. We'll have to see what Air Force does next. I mean, one option could be trying to go for fast tech here. Try and somehow get out a medium tank faster than me. And certainly with all the light vehicles I've gone for, the 2-2 and the 250 half-tech, that wouldn't be an entirely bad idea since, I mean, that is still nonetheless 60 fuel. So that could be an idea there for Air Force to consider. Need more ground western side, but there you go, to do pushback. And it is trying to cut the treaty as we got a big push here from Air Force. Making good use of the train to try and outmaneuver me. And again, trying to avoid any like pitch engagement. 250 half to come in with a machine gun. Again, getting my forces excellent flexibility and mobility, but the assault is very much under the way. And I realise I can't set the machine gun up as the position I want to. So again, pulling back stuff here. 250 half to, they're also basically, you know, acting as a spotter if the machine gun wants to set it up. I mix it up in a slightly better position as the 250 can just, for example, just drive into the advancing troops if it comes down to it. So there you go, good push here by Air Force, completely catches me off guard. Good maneuvering, good read in the situation tactically. Also beginning to upgrade my Grenadiers to have a veteran squad lead upgrades. We got beacons down there, thumbs up. Pack 4 about to get cleared out, not good for me. North here, Lieutenant again there as well to take advantage of the confusion caused by the main push here. And we got the paratroopers upgraded with a Browning light machine guns, very good there. For Air Force, obviously, a bit more of a problem for me. But he's not really doing this for my benefit, quite the opposite. Grenadiers bringing in Stormtroopers in as well there. Got the MD4 slightly moving ahead, of course, got the half-ton plane support. Air Force suddenly realising his position may not be, I think, quite as solid as he'd hoped today as the machine gun moves up. Half-tech also slowly moving forward there to support my troops. There you go, reinforcing the Stormtroopers. And there you go, Air Force's assault force, before it could dig in, got suppressed and routed. And again, thanks to the half-track, I don't have to retreat anyone. I can just push onwards. So again, the half-track here provides the valuable service of frontline presence and endurance, ensuring again I can hold the field more effectively, which is really important as the Wehrmacht. There you go, lead crew there being cut to ribbons there, half-track gaining veterans you want. Still nothing in terms of tech there for Air Force, I believe. Any sort of greater plans. Bazooka team, they're trying to take out the half-tech, but was saved by the MD-42. Close shave there. End up retreating. I could have run over to the half-tech to reinforce and pop them into it, but I think it's because I actually want to pull back the half-tech as well to the base. I'm doing it like that, so I can repair it, and then I can just, you know, stuff the Grenadiers inside the half-tech there. Grenadiers was rapidly echelons. Air Force resources remains on hold. Also got a mortar, a bit of a tool here to put pressure on me. Not a bad idea there. Air Force certainly showing a good, I think, flexible ability to adapt to what I'm doing, tactically and strategically. That is very nice. So again, one real big caveat is, you know, he should be doing more with the resource. Either tech, you know, go for a lot of light vehicles, try to hold him with that. But he definitely should not be floating that much manpower and fuel right now. Definitely feel like that's a bit of a slight hiccup. But that's just me. Pathfinder pressed here, grab the eastern point. Of course, I'm slightly extending. Stormtroopers here could maybe catch the paratroopers. Machine gun there taking mortar there from Air Force's mortar. Gonna use me up support. 2-2 almost good to go. Stop paratroopers falling back, perhaps sensing that it's a trap. He decides not to push his luck. Not more here. We got Lieutenant versus the Grenadiers. But veteran squad leader Grenadiers, they are much tougher there, and actually quite a familiar force there for American infantry, in particular when they walk straight up to them. That one was easily won. Grenadiers are trying to hold the line, so of course I'm doing a lot of things. I'm actually kind of scattered all over the place, so I'm actually making several mistakes in that sense tactically. Again, I should be a bit more focused here than I actually am. And I really risk losing another machine in my Pack 40 here to the Americans. But the 250 half tech is good to go, the 2-2 as well. I have tagged up. Meanwhile, Airforce is also finally starting to take up there. Good for him. Less good for me. We'll have to see who gets out some armor first. Grabbing the western victory point. Got the 2-2 moving out, and we got more paratroopers here for Air Force, calling in more elite infantry to assail the crowds. And there goes formed up another bazooka team there. That's them going to put a lot more pressure on the vehicles. And there go paratroopers caught by the Grenadiers. And the Storms got a quick pile upgrade off. Grenadiers taking heavy losses, but the paratroopers do get away there, I think. Bazooka team going here for the 2-2-2. A swarm of rockets being unleashed. Second paratrooper squad good to go. Jeremy, though, gets caught in a bush and torn apart by squirrels, having had enough of the horrors of man's wars. There's the real reason why they die when they touch a tree, any kind of like foliage. It's squirrels. Anyways, Stormtroopers there sneaking about. Got the Grenadiers machine there popping into the half-tech, forming up a small, or just the Grenadiers, actually a small mobile combat group as they move out westwards. Basically conceding the eastern side of the map here for now, since I could try and attack into it, but with all the paratroopers and whatnot, I feel like that'd be a bad idea, and I could just, make easier progress in the west, just quickly outmaneuver my opponent there, head up some resources there, and then set up maybe for a fresh attack elsewhere. Panzer IV on the way for me, the Panzerkampfwagen 4. And then going straight for Rifleman. Grenadiers quickly popping out here, doing heavy damage to the Rifleman up close. Anti-tank Rifleman there, but I'm not too worried about that. Partly due to the sheer presence of the Grenadiers, but also, could theoretically get my pioneers up there. Troops are reinforcing. He's using the beacon to reinforce his paratroopers to the front line. Very good. Very good. Thumbs up there to Airforce. He's actually been good use of the doctrine in that sense and his abilities. And again, maneuver. Maybe hit routed by the Grenadiers. Very good. Here reinforcement. Panther almost done. Air Force can soon go for the Sherman. Grab the eastern fuel point. Quick push into the centre. Catching the Pathfinders in a very precarious position. The Grenadiers open up with the Kar-90Ks and these key for the freeze and the squad leader. Pathfinders almost wide. There you go. Paratroopers to the rescue. Opening up close here. I think you should have focused down the Grenadier squad up close rather than running straight past. It might have been misclick here, or maybe wasn't paying attention either way though. His paratrooper squad, Sen in this case, gets wiped. That was less than well handled there by Air Force. I mean, one paratrooper squad was two veteran Grenadier squads. Like that is not exactly a good maneuver there, and was obviously very costly. Fragmentation bombs here. Does some damage, but doesn't get the lieutenant at the same time. The bazooka going here, half tech I forgot about. I forgot about the bazooka team specifically, and he's in fact going straight for it. Almost taking my half tech again, aiming forward, setting up. Sherman about to head here for Air Force and Democracy. Got the mortar, and I'm going to try and steal it away here from Air Force. Troops are suppressed, but there you go. They go for the half-tech, and they blow it apart. A staggering loss there to the German army. The Mittlere Schützenpanzerwagen is kaput. Paratroopers there closing eventually. Two Grenadiers there being harried by the very irate paratroopers wanting vengeance for their fallen comrades. And also terrified of the trees. Panther IV moving ahead here. But Air Force Sherman is almost done as well. Sees an eastern victory point here. Panther IV moving forwards there, right past the beacon. Gunny's moving for the centre there. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for any 50 calibers or anti-tank guns, either doctrinally or non-doctrinally, since it would really help me to further control my maneuvers. Whereas, because I had all those light vehicles, I was able to much more easily control how Air Force could move about the map in some cases, which certainly gave me better map control here. Plus, it would make it easier for him to actually hold the ground, which I think has been one of the major issues for Airborne. Like, he's been able to great at taking ground. He tends to struggle in an unlaunched counterattack to seize it. So, machine guns really would be a great investment here for Air Force. I mean, the mortar wasn't a bad pick, but the lack of 50 calibers at this point is starting to stand out a bit like a sore thumb. I just got the Sherman out here. Paratroopers, bazooka team swinging up to support it. He's going panzer hunting with it, I think. Western assault continues. We've got telemines being laid down here to catch up any armor. I'm definitely expecting it, which is also why it went for the Panther IV first. Like, I wasn't entirely sure, but I also have to like just deal with the Sherman, but with all the infantry about there as well, I figured for the Panther would be a nice middle ground. Normally I prefer to either push an Ostman if I'm ahead, or a Stug if I'm, really expecting armor, but it was sort of more of a middle ground, so I went for the Panther IV in this case. Paratroopers fighting here as the gunners rifling up again. Bazooka teams not very good versus the veteran squad with the grenadiers. Like, that's just a fool's errand. In the west here, Major being torn apart in a most spectacular way here by the Panzer IV. And wiped. Another blow there to Air Force and Freedom and Democracy. And the center paratroopers pushed back here. And I got the mortar supporting my efforts. So what will Air Force do next here? What is his next move? His next plan. Fixing up the Sherman there, very good. Sturmgeschütz on the way for me. I mean, got the Panzer IV now. I can just double down on dealing with the armor. I could also go for the Osman here. There's still obviously a lot of infantry, but I think with the veteran core squad gunners, the stormtroopers, I'm sort of reasonably in short as an infantry, so I want to like double down and just making sure any Shermans die quick and aren't a problem for me. Bring about there with Panzer IV, Lieutenant Sherman up the eastern side. Got the captain on the way there for Air Force. Could of course have not found tank guns, pack cards and whatnot. Anti-aircraft traffic at this point is, I think, very much out of the question. On the west side, Germany going for the stormtroopers in the east. Great hit there. Almost takes up my stormtrooper squad. And I'm falling back. There's of course an incoming wave of American infantry back up by the tank, and I realise my position is not ready for that. Oh, Telemann goes off, killing Telemann grenadiers in the west. Bazooka team though takes it from the mortar. Southern assault continuing from the Sherman. Almost wiping out my stormtrooper squad there. Close one, but not quite. Need to be careful, of course, there's no extending a Sherman. Grenadiers moving in there, trying to put it in with Panzerfausts. Stug rushing in, Panzer IV moving in as well there. Grenadiers moving with the Pathfinder's paratrooper as well there. And go directly from the Sturmgeschütz. Sherman needs to get out there fast. Another hit from the Stug. Not entirely sure was trying to take that route. Might have been a panic reaction. He could have smoked and then sort of, I think, taking the wrong route here. Instead, now I risk getting sort of swarmed here. And there you go. At the same time, the bazookas from the north. Again, I forget about the bazooka teams. And the Panzer IV gets dark up here by the Sherman, which all of a sudden the table turns on that one. Pack 40 though takes out the Sherman, but the Panzer IV now is taking heavy damage from the bazookas. And the Stug, of course, can't do anything against that. So with a great push here, Air Force has once more cleared out my front line. Machine gun wasn't at the front line all. Pack 40 cleared out as well there. Panzer IV about to go down as well there. 6 kills. Half 8 veterans. One looks like it won't get any further. There we go. Panzerkampfwagen 4 kaputt. Air Force gain control of the map here against the Krauts. But as usual, the question is, can he then hold it? Can he then hold it? And again, this is where machine gun would be a very sound investment for Air Force. Again, he just call in discounted once with the pair drop. I'm also surprised, despite researching bazookas, he's not upgrading out other troops with BARs. I mean, that would also be, I think, a very solid investment there for Air Force. Would be able to support its attacks much better. And of course, put more pressure on the infantry. So the lack of BARs here does stand out. My troops aren't complaining. Yeah, it's a real shame the Americans aren't equipping the men with a BAR. Yeah, I mean, it is World War I vintage, but it's still very uncomfortable coming to fire from. Yeah. Idiots. And his rears are there moving about here straight to the stormtroopers. And it certainly is only making it easy for my infantry to fight them when, you know, they don't have to face up against BR. I mean, still, we got the paratroopers with the light machine gun, and again, they hadn't thrown away that Thompson stormtrooper squad. I think Air Force in that sense would also be in a much stronger position. So in that regard, remember not to throw away your assault troops. They can be really good if you use them wisely. Himself, the Thompson paratroopers, they're really underrated. So I'm glad he went for them, but I'm less enthused that, you know, he kind of threw them away like that. I mean, obviously, again, at the moment, I wasn't complaining, but, you know, sort of from a commentator's perspective, bit of a shame. Put out their machine gun to my Sturmgeschütz. Grab the southern fuel point here. Fragmentation bombs ready to try and blast something apart. Here's Pack 40's also ready. And I'm going for the Osprey now to put pressure there on Air Force infantry. I'm also not too focused or worried about armor here from Air Force at the moment. Up here come these facing off against a significant American attack here. As Air Force sends in paratroopers and lieutenant at the same time. I got moving here the bazooka teams. Panzers are pushing through the center, which is actually wide open here. Note by more beacons here from Air Force. Thumbs up. Panzers are advancing. Sadly, did not get them upgraded in time with the support packet, which is always a pretty handy one. Going straight for the fuel. Pack cards are almost done there for Air Force. And obviously, with regards to munitions, it could be setting up for P-47 rocket strafe, but, you know, if it goes for an Osprey, it's going to be less effective anyways. And, you know, you should just spend it sooner on BAR to put on pressure on infantry. And it really, I think, would have helped him out a bunch in a lot of engagements and make his attacks and defenses much more formidable because again his lieutenant, captain, and all that is better equipped with Brownings. So it's a bit of something that stands out. But there you go. Riesen's caught here by the Austrian Flak Panzer as the 9th Panzer Division strikes for the Faserland. Setting up for another flank there. He's really good at flanking. I mean, really got to commend Air Force that he's a really maneuverable player. But doesn't just try to rely on brute force. He's actually trying to rely on maneuver. He does clearly have some struggles with it from time to time, but he's definitely doing his best there. I mean, got to commend him there. Right from there, Bazooka there being blasted to bits by the MD-42 in the Ostwind. Not looking too good at their Panzer being focused down as well there. We got another bazooka out there. Quick goodbye to landing there in the paratroopers. Or not. Also almost set off my own telemine there. Big movement here. Oh, we got air support called in, but we also got a lot of troops bounced in there, and I basically just called in a fragmentation bomb here. Pack cleared out, and oh, he's not moving. He's not moving. Oh, scheiße. That was an absolute slaughter. He just lost so much there. The captain's gone. The captain is gone, alongside some other chaps. A significant blow there to Air Force. A significant blow. Just so many men dead. Also, the Pathfinder's pretty much just expired there. He grabs the Pack 40 again, though. He grabs it again. The absolute sheer stones then Air Force, but I think right now what needs of is not stones, but men that aren't dead. Stormswing about there. In the end, the P-47 I think really didn't do much. They might in fact been shot down by the Ostwind, at least one of them was. Plus again, it requires line of sight, so that investment would have been much better served on weapons for the infantry, I think, rather than that straight front. There you go. Ostwind then, the command, now under Air Force's command. I do manage to stop it with a Panzerfaust, but that could have gotten ugly if I hadn't stopped it. That could have gotten very ugly. Storms are dealing with the pack outs across up north, clearing them out with violence and will. Another shown away there for Air Force. Storms from the north here. Veteran 2, 8 kills in service of Deutschland. Pack destroyed. If he can't have it, then I certainly am not supposed to have it either. Sending about here again, we got 468 on the 88, sending one of the pits where Air Force has been struck comparatively, again due to the weakness in map control which he so far has been displaying. While holding ground specifically. Like, he's good at taking it, it's just when it then comes to holding it, he struggles. He struggles. Now at this point I brought up a second MD-42 against him because, the way he's handling his infantry, I really need more machine guns to control them better, and I honestly should have gone for one sooner, but better late than never, one supposes. Right now the Air Force is, well, quite diminished. He is taking significant casualties. Again, that fragmentation bomb, for example, was just absolute hell for him. He's got another Sherman out, so he's got more armor on the field, but he's going to have to work it very hard to have a good chance now. He's going to have to work it very hard. And he can't really afford any more mistakes. And still, he'd benefit a lot from a few bars and, a few machine guns as well. Moving for the center victory point again. Here we still got the telemine down. Moving ahead here with the bazooka teams and the Sherman. Jones there picking up the pantry. Actually, bazooka, I actually thought there was a BAR. Despite I am not seeing anyone. It was just kind of, ooh, a BAR for my Panzer Grenadiers. That would be nice. Ludwig, I don't think that's a BAR. What do you mean? It goes pew, stuffed eyes. Yeah, but I think it's a different kind of pew you're looking for there. It's a bit more of a whoosh bang rather than pew pew pew. Well, I never quite got American engineering anyways. Well, no one does, Ludwig. But that's still not a bar. Another Sturmgeschütz on the way here. Got a sufficient count of infantry. I'm just going to focus on the Sturmgeschütz to deal with any allied armor, though I should upgrade the light machine guns. Air Force there charging it proudly and confidently through the centre. Certain that there's no mines in the way whatsoever. Meanwhile, got a valiant, assault and hold here. Quick one on the paratroopers. Sherman, as it takes a heroic maneuver, sets off the telemine, almost wiping out the entire Ralph squad, and a mortar round kills the last survivor, dazed and horrified by what happened for him. And now the Stug is on the prowl here for the remaining for the Sherman. Gaining veterans one. They got a bazooka team moving up here. But the Stug doesn't care too much. And there you go at the same time. Package crew now getting flanked here by the assaulting stormtroopers and veteran grenadiers. They're going to clear up the crew in a few moments. Stug charge through, backed up with the pioneers and the panzer grenadiers. Going for the Sherman and knocking it out. There's a significant blow here to Air Force again. At this point, Air Force is looking rather ragged. This force is having suffered significant casualties, despite his best efforts at times. But really bad luck of him just to hit that telemine while his infantry squad was on it. It's a rare sight, but when a telemine does go up an infantry squad, it can cause huge casualties because, unlike other mines, they don't have that little limitation where, you know, they can only kill like 2 men at a time. Telemines don't care. It also is nice reflective of how telemines were also used in the actual war, which was as demolition charges to blow up infantry. In particular on the Eastern Front to deal with Soviet infantry advances, at times they just chuck out telemines, and then the telemine would have a little detonation court they could sort of rip and just set it off in the midst of them. Little fun fact there. It'll basically improvised tactical charge in that sense. Pulling back those Stugs here for repairs. Obviously I'm not want to get caught on bazookas. Another Sherman there for Air Force and the 2nd Infantry. They keep fighting. He's finally gone for a machine gun. He has finally gone for it. Yippee! Ki-yay! Mother flipper, but sadly it's a bit late there, and I don't even think John McClane could pull that one through. There's any of us the veterans grenadiers again. Like, veteran squad of the grenadiers are just really good once they hit veteran feed. They are absolutely devastating. Machine gun going through the centre here. 50 caliber covering it up there. We got 459 of 95. Season Eastern Point. Going straight for the 50 caliber here. And a flak panzer there. More for me. Again, got 2 Stugs. He's going to go for a flak panzer. Lone Sherman westwards to hit the isolated infantry units over there. Very good. It's almost got all victory points here. And we got more paratroopers here for Air Force. More paratroopers for freedom. Stug going in there. Still haven't upgraded with the machine guns. That is a really big oversight by me. 2 thumbs down to myself. Dane, remember, you gotta go for more machine guns and Stugs. Paratroopers landing down there in a valiant effort, avoiding any squirrels that might leap at them and claw out their eyes. Then he's controlling the centre with the machine gun backing up the paratroopers. We've got mortar fire raining down. Actually, this pack out of fire and mortar got cleared out. Stug shouting heady, ignoring the paratroopers because who cares about those? Sherman being pursued here with the double Sturmgeschütz. Paratroopers being assailed by pioneers, the bazooka and the grenadiers here. Still haven't got machine guns there. Definitely big shame here. Paratroopers in trouble in the centre. Other paratroopers called also being routed. Sherman in, they could flank the Stugs, which might be here. Air Force chances sort of turning this around. He's going for it. There we go. One Stug got maneuver, but at the same time the Stugs are sufficient here. Partly can't easily up. We're about past them. There you go, get stuck on one Stug. Oh dear, the other Stug's pathing is messing up. Oh, it's turning into a mess up. It's a real road cock up. Sherman driving about, one Stug down. He's close, he's close. Stug that turns about, and there you go, Greyhound the Sherman. Now the Sherman has no real chance against your Stug. The Stug very much has his line up for the kill, and there you go, Flag Panzer arriving. And with that, Air Force remaining. Sherman is down. He's got some infantry left. There's a Ostwind on loose. He's only got a pair of bazookas. And with that, Air Force surrenders. A significant blow to the 2nd Infantry Division's its defence of the sector has failed, as the 9th Panzer Division breaks through with some casualties. A brutal battle here. A lot of manoeuvring there from Air Force again. A lot of good manoeuvres as well. But the problem was just, A, he didn't go for machine gun early on, which I think was one of the mistakes there. It really would help underpin his moves much better. It would actually make it hard for me to get it back. Additionally, again, like the loss of those paratrooper chumps there, in that sense, really didn't help him. There were some mistakes sort of kept cropping up as the match went on. I think really didn't do him any favours. Also, the lack of bars. I'm really surprised he just kept floating that much munition, not going for any bars. That's definitely a big mistake of the Air Force. Meanwhile, of course, I made some mistakes here and there, but I was able to counter it by just also good counter maneuvers. And the half-chair there early on also gave me some better presence versus him, and also just gave me a struggle on make-gain because I couldn't easily be pushed off. I just, could preserve manpower in that sense better because I didn't have to attack as much through, very obstinate terrain. So that definitely gave me something to work with in the longer range as well. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on, tell friends, tell family, but don't tell enemies. This is ImperialDane. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope you all tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.